Hello, Trickway89 for Steve Arts 89, Star Trek's Gatekeeper. There is a new Strange New Worlds trailer out. It's only 30 seconds long, or 26 seconds of actual footage before you get the end title. It's focusing on Uhura. It's interesting. It's got a few new shots, and it starts off with the Enterprise in dry dock, and it looks very grey. I mean, we kind of knew this, but like a real gunmetal, dull, dark sort of colour, but I sort of thought that was mostly the lighting as it was out in space. In dry dock, it should have been well lit. It should have looked lighter and brighter, and it really should have a nice, plain sort of matte finish, but they're going for this dark metallic look. I'm not happy. And also, I just realised for the first time, all the windows are the little sets of 3 narrow windows like they have in Discovery, so I guess they wanted to reuse those same sets, so they put those windows on the Enterprise, which I didn't notice. I thought they actually had little wide sort of rectangle windows, but what they actually have is a row of 3 skinny little windows, which I didn't realise because I just didn't look that closely. And the way it's lit, the windows are sort of really softly lit and you don't really notice the detail so much. Now the bridge, it's kind of confirmed that they have removed the outer ring, because the bridge in the other show, in Discovery Season 2, basically it had like an outer ring and then an inner ring, which was the consoles, and the turbo lift door was on the outside of the outer ring, and you have to walk past. And it was just like this little corridor that sort of walked around the outside of behind the consoles. It made no sense. They've moved the turbo lift door in and made the bridge smaller and made it feel like basically the same bridge as before, so that's good. But still they have these insanely bright lights sort of lining the control console, so if you were sitting there at the bridge the whole time, it's going to be burning your eyes out. Now look, I'm trying to be positive, I'm trying to be optimistic, but you know, there's some good and some bad, like the fact that the Enterprise is basically gunmetal grey, and no matter how it's lit, it's going to look dark and dull and not look like the Enterprise. That's a negative. The bridge looks great. They have moved you know, the outer wall. They've removed the outer wall, so it makes more sense, but it's still very black and has these white bright lights that would blind anyone if they're working there for 7 hours staring at them. Now Pike comes on, he welcomes everyone, he welcomes Uhura. They show Uhura walking in the corridor, and the corridors actually look like the Enterprise from the JJ films or the Enterprise from Star Trek 4, really bright and white, and there's such a contrast to the bridge set and the other sets, so it's quite jarring. It's like, we built a new set, we made it all nice and bright, just like the original Star Trek Starship Enterprise, but they didn't like do the rest of the ship, so it just looks really jarring. So part of me is like, oh, they actually make something, like I said, it's actually bright, it's not like dark and dull, and you know, but they haven't changed the look of the whole ship, so it doesn't make any sense to me. Now they show, so I'm pushing a button, so you see the console and all the details of the controls, and they go to warp. They show the planet, they show the Enterprise approaching this planet, which has like a giant fire and smoke on top of it, it looks like. It looks like a bushfire on the planet, but it's on the outside of the atmosphere is what it looks like. I know that's not what it is, but that's what it looks like. Then they actually go down, and first we see, I guess, Pike's cabin. They're having a dinner. He's talking to Uhura, and he says, I hear you speak 12 languages. She corrects him that she speaks 37. And he's like, that's impressive. Then they go down to the planet, or maybe it's a different planet, and they show a downed starship that they're going to investigate. There's an alien on board. He doesn't speak any language the universal translator can identify, or it's not working. So the security guard asks Uhura to do something. She's like, that's not how linguistics work. And then, what is there now? Oh, Spock. Oh my God. We've seen Spock already in the trailer. He looked fine. The black undershirt is kind of low, and the collar doesn't show over the blue, so it looks a bit odd. Suddenly his neck looks really long, as opposed to the other uniforms where there's this big collar that covered up their necks. It's sort of gone from one extreme to the next. But they've extended his sideburns all the way down to here, and they're really narrow, and it just looks like someone's drawn down his face with a pen or something. It looks really bad. I don't know who designed that hair or that makeup. It's awful. I couldn't take him seriously. He was basically saying, you know, we're lucky to have you on board, to Uhura, and I'm just looking at him going like, I can't take him seriously with those like lines drawn down his face. I don't know what possessed him to do that. I hope maybe it's some weird attempt at fashion on his part, and like Uhura checks him and he changes it, because it didn't look like that in the other shot of him I saw. And we see the shots of the cargo bay where people are like on cables and trying to not get sucked out of or blown out of the airlock. And then we see the walkway again, and the bridge. Oh, there's a walkway going between one ship and another ship that's being fired on, and then we see Uhura on the bridge, and she's basically saying, "Who knows where I'll end up? I guess I'm still searching." So it's all about Uhura and her journey, and like I said, I'm trying to be positive. There's some good and some bad. But I just wanted that to be only good. I wanted to see all the sets looking nice and bright like the original Enterprise, and they've sort of gone, the new sets are bright and the ones we've already built, we're just not spending the money to update them. So that was disappointing, and I was hoping they might have done something to the whole of the Enterprise. I was actually hoping it was a lighter colour and it was just the lighting that made it look dark, but in the dry dock, when it should have been well lit, you can see that it's just this dull gunmetal sort of colour, and it just sort of, you can't sort of see it from the background, from space. It's just, none of the effects have good lighting. They're all dark, and that's a cheap thing to do because it saves on the rendering. It makes it easier to render because you don't have to do all the detail because you can't see it because it's so dark. So I think it might be a production cost saving thing less than an aesthetic choice. But that's just my theory, knowing a little bit about CGI and everything, and I'd hate if that was it, but I don't know if I'd hate it more if it was actually just how they wanted it to look. I don't know. But the shot of the ship on the planet looked good. It looks lighter than the Enterprise, the colour of it. It's a snowy planet. It looked realistic. I don't know. I'm trying to be optimistic. I really am, but I keep seeing things that bother me. And things that already bother me that they didn't change, but then there's other things that they have appeared to have changed. So I think it's going to be a mixed bag. I don't think we're really going to be happy, but it's going to be better than Discovery and a lot better than Picard. So I'm not sure where we're going to fall on it, us Star Trek fans. But we'll see. We've got a bit more than a month, I think 5 weeks, because it's May 5th, and that's it's a bit more than 5 weeks. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I'm sorry I couldn't use any pictures or footage or anything, but CBS, if they don't like you, they don't let you use any of their footage. And anyone who doesn't praise the show, basically, they don't get to monetize the videos, so there's no point doing them. So, yeah, I'm going to go. Bye.